Today on the bass channel, we're checking out the SGT-DI from Ampeg. We've got quite a bit of ground to cover in this video, so I'll try to move it along quickly. First of all, if you're interested in picking this pedal up for yourself, follow the link down below to Zounds. And second, many of the sound samples in this video are grouped together by bass type. We've got precision bass, jazz bass, Stingray, Gibson, various vintage basses, and modern basses. So let's start with some P-bass tones. I think it's safe to say that everyone involved in the bass channel are big fans of the Ampeg sound, or at least the SVT sound. It's also probably safe to say that we all dread dealing with the size and the weight of these amps and cabinets. Exhibit A behind me, that 810, getting that up the stairs into this studio was not fun. Therefore, a lot of players have spent a lot of time searching for an Ampeg in a box, or at the very least, an SVT in a box solution. But unfortunately, the SCR-DI left a lot of us disappointed and continued the search to find some other alternatives, some being better than others. But now I do believe it's also safe to say that we do finally have a legitimate, dare I say, authentic Ampeg in a box that actually says Ampeg on the front. We'll dive more into that in just a bit, but first, let's check out some jazz bass tones. The SGT-DI gives modern bassists nearly an entire rig in a single stomp box. The foot-switchable SGT circuit with SVT and B15 voicing switch lets you select either the SVT or B15 tone circuit and dial in just the right amount of grit and level. The SVT and B15 voicing circuit is an all-analog circuit that works as an enhancement to the SGT circuit, replicating the grit and harmonic distortion of these two iconic amplifiers when played at different levels. The 3-band EQ now has sweepable mids, it's got an ultra-high, a 3-way ultra-low switch, and Ampeg's first IR loader cab simulator. The 3-way ultra-low provides cut and boost of low frequencies, while ultra-high provides a boost only. The SGT-DI features a variable 10:1 compressor. Turning the comp knob will increase the sustain and create a more consistent output level regardless of how light or hard you play. So now let's hear a couple Stingray tones. The IR loader lets you choose from 3 classic factory cabs, the Heritage B15, the Heritage SVT-410 HLF, and the vintage squareback SVT-810. Or you can load up to 3 cabs of your own by using the free Ampeg IR loader application. Volume for the IR loader is controlled via a push and release control on the side of the pedal. So earlier I mentioned this is a legitimate and authentic Ampeg in a box, and thanks to not only the IR loader this pedal has to offer, but the bass channel's unique way of recording demos, we can actually put that to the test. So the first tone you're going to hear is of an actual SVT-CL with matching 810 cab mic'd with a Shure Beta 52, of which I made my own cab sim, And the second tone you're going to hear is the SGT-DI into that same cab sim of the 810 and Shure Beta 52, but we're recording it through the direct out of the pedal. And here is the best SVT tone I've ever personally dialed in, so much so that I actually profiled this tone into my Kemper so I could keep that tone after I had to send the amp pack.
This clean tone that you created on the Kemper is the best clean tone ever.
It's so good.
It's ridiculous. I fucking love it.
Through a bunch of my own cab sims. Okay, so I have a bit of a confession to make. The first time I plugged into a legitimate SVT stack, I was tremendously excited to crank the gain, hit the tubes hard, and get all of that saturation and overdrive and grit that I've heard so much about through pedal descriptions, software emulations, and the like. Now, it might be because I've spent so much time with overdrive pedals and such that when I did finally dial in that tone, I didn't like it. I've also discovered that the SGT-DI hits all of the hallmarks of that tone that I didn't like perfectly with this pedal. However, there are two pieces of good news with that information. If you do like that tone of an SVT pushed really hard with either a boost pedal or a high output bass of some sort, then this pedal nails that perfectly. Even though I don't like it, I think I'm hearing the exact same things that I didn't like about the real deal versus this pedal, so if you do like it, I think you're going to be happy. But if you don't enjoy that sound, the SGT circuit is foot switchable, so you can turn it off, run your favorite overdrive or distortion or fuzz pedal, and the clean side of this preamp is going to handle it brilliantly. Okay, so one addendum I will make about my statement about not liking SVTs pushed really hard. That seems to be only true when it's pushed really hard, like whether you have a clean boost set to maximum or a really high output bass with no treble or bass controls, something of that nature. When it's set to be a roaring, huge gain stack, I'm not into it. However, when it's set to be just a little bit above unity to where it starts to get, I don't know, a hint of zing, a hint of grit, just a little tiny bit of dirt, that sounds good. So much like the real SVT, the SGT-DI does sound pleasant to my ears with those tone descriptors we said earlier. when the gain control is below the 12 o'clock position. And I've also found that for me, and what my ear wants to hear, the B15 voice does that really low gain, slightly overdriven, edge of breakup type of tone, especially if you're going for kind of a vintage vibe. So with that being said, let's hear a handful of vintage vibe, vintage style, and in some cases downright actual vintage basses. And now we've come to my personal favorite part of the video, the Gibson basses. Luckily, I have quite a collection at this point of Gibson basses, so we can touch on a lot of different types of tone, all remaining under the Gibson tone umbrella. We've got long scales, we've got short scales, we've got passives, we've got actives, we've got modded ones with aftermarket pickups, we've got one with a fuzz built in, so let's check them out. And finally, let's wrap it up with some modern active basses. Okay, I think that just about wraps it up. So big thanks to Ampeg for sending this pedal to us to show you all how it sounds. Big thanks to Zounds for their continued support. You can click the link below if you want to get one for yourself. And if you want to see a head-to-head shootout between the SGT-DI and the SCR-DI, sign up to be a YouTube member and you can check that video out right here. But in the meantime, give this video a like, a dislike, leave a comment down below, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you next time.